They say Florida's all sunshine, beaches, and palm trees, but we know different. This ain't tourist Florida. This the truth. From Duval to Dade. Because down here, Florida ain't sweet.
It be large.
All right, y'all. This your girl Pumpkin, and we back with another one. This time, ain't no co-host. I'm here by myself. So, the episode today is titled Gone Before Sunrise. And today, we're not riding to Miami. We're not going to Jacksonville. Nah, we're going to stay right here. We're going right to the city that raised me, Pompano Beach. To be specific, it's the 1600 block of North Cypress Road. And if you know, you know. Y'all know I am from Pompano, Blanche Ely High School, class of 2002, second to none. So when we talk about Ely, we talk about family. So this one, it hit different, it hit home. Because in 1993, before some of us was even thinking about prom, before Instagram, before cell phones, a 17-year-old Blanche Ely High School student walked out of her house at 5 in the morning, and she never came back. This is the story of Shanynthia Mashelle Greene, also known as Nikki. And Pompano, and even if you want to broaden it out, even Florida, we still don't have answers. So let's talk about who Nikki was. Nikki wasn't the runaway type. She wasn't involved in no foolishness, no mess, you know. She did what she needed to do. Her mother, her name was Henrietta Greene. She described her as someone who was loved by all. Now, I know what I said about, you don't want to be described as someone who's loved by all and light up the room. But in this case, I don't know. Now, one thing about Nikki, she was kind of tall. She was 6 feet 2 inches, about 190 to 200 pounds. She was born September 30th, 1975. That makes her a Libra. So, she's tall, beautiful, and noticeable. You can't miss her. She had dark or like black or dark brown hair, brown eyes. She had a gold tooth in the front with the letter G on it. And on her lower right leg, she had a white discoloration. So the reason I'm giving a description, because if you see her, you're going to remember her. Like, just to see her picture, I remember just seeing her picture around town, and I'm like, I've seen this girl. I've seen her at the park. You can't miss her. I'm not that tall. So anybody that's like significantly taller than me, I'm definitely going to notice. Now, at this time, she was 17 years old. And like I said, she was a graduate of Blanche Ely High School class of 1993. She worked part-time as a cashier at the Kmart. And you already know this had to go back in the day, because the Kmarts don't even exist no more. Ain't no more Kmarts around here. I think they done turned that Kmart into a Sports Authority. Wait, no, Sports Authority ain't around either. I think it's a Whole Foods. But overall, she lived a regular teenage life. She liked watching videos and having pizza with her boyfriend. She's only 17 years old, so she does have a curfew. And her curfew at this time was 1:30 in the morning. And for the most part, she followed it. She did what she was supposed to do, go to work, go to school. Her mama didn't have no problems out of her. And then also her mama said she never ran away before. Never. She didn't give her no hard time. And y'all, because some of these jits be fast as fuck and just be hot in the tail. But Nikki wasn't like that. She wasn't like that at all. So it was a surprise, the events that happened. So moving right along, on August 26, 1993, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, Nikki left her family home. That's where the 1600 block of North Cypress Road came. And she had plans for the day. So I know it started a little early. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. But her boyfriend had to be to work, and he asked her for a ride. So that's where she was going that morning. Now, later on that day, she was supposed to grab lunch with a family friend. And then she had to go to Kmart because she had her shift. She was scheduled to go to work. Pretty much it's just a normal day, nothing crazy going on. They think, because no one can really confirm, because at the time nobody really saw Nikki when she left the house, but they believe she had on some white shorts and some brown sandals. That's all that they can confirm at this time, because she was just going to drop her boyfriend off to work. She ain't packed no clothes. She ain't have no extra belongings. She left like she always did. And, back then, they didn't have cameras, so they really don't know. And that was actually the last confirmed time that the family saw her. Right now, there's cameras everywhere, so it's very hard to go someplace and not be seen. They're going to catch you on one of them cameras. They got cameras all up and down I-95. It's very hard to not be seen. But back then, we're talking about 1993, that was the last time they seen her, was just walking out of the house. And now what ended up happening is, later on that night, Nikki's mom came home from work. And it was about 10 o'clock at night. And her car was gone. No alarm had went off or anything like that. So her mom automatically assumed that she was out with her boyfriend. It's pretty typical teenage behavior, but when 3 o'clock in the morning comes, like I told y'all, Nikki don't miss her curfew. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning and my child is not home. What's going on? And ain't no cell phones back then, so it ain't like she could just pick up the cell phone. Because now, with my jits, it's 3 o'clock and you supposed to be home by now. I'm blowing your phone up. I'm checking your location or something. But you can't do that with Nikki because it wasn't no cell phones. And her 1:30 a.m. curfew, now that done came and went. But Nikki still ain't home. Now that's a problem. So naturally, back then you do what you can do. You gotta call around town. Hey, you seen Nikki? Hey, Nikki ain't come home. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that thing will be frightening to me to receive a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, if I receive a phone call literally at 3 a.m., somebody better be dying. And it's like, what you mean she ain't came home? I'm questioning that too. Naturally, if my baby ain't came home, I don't care what time it is, I'm calling around, and that's what her mama did. But nobody had seen Nikki. Nobody knows where she is. No, she ain't come by here. I ain't seen her. I've been chilling all day. I ain't seen her ride by here. I ain't seen nothing. So that morning, it's about 8 a.m. when her mom gets up again. She wakes up and she notices that Nikki's bedroom door is closed. So she assumed, okay, maybe she did come home and she's asleep. But it still wasn't right because none of her clothes was missing. And then come to find out, like, once they started, like, checking around town and, checking into stuff, they realized that she never did pick up her paycheck from Kmart. The people at Kmart was like, where she at? She ain't gonna pick up a check. And y'all already know back in the day, they used to issue you a check. You had to go to the bank and cash that bit. So if you ain't pick up your check, you ain't got no money. Kmart still got her check. So now, all right, well, let me check her bank account. It wasn't no activity. It wasn't no movement, no nothing. She ain't write no check. She ain't take no cash out. 1993, I don't think we had, like, debit cards like we be using nowadays. You had to kind of just take the cash out, at least come in and cash your check. But she hadn't even came in and cashed no check because the check's still sitting at Kmart. So the family they just looking around, locally, calling the people, asking people in the neighborhood, hey, you seen Nikki? Anybody seen Nikki? No. Nothing. Still ain't found nothing. All right, cool. So what ends up happening is they waited to the end of the day. By the time that time comes at whatever time at the end of the day and Nikki still ain't home, now it's like, what do we do? It's early in the morning. 2 days. They waited 2 days after she disappeared. And then they officially filed a missing persons report. I guess they just assumed, like, hey, she may show up. Maybe she at a friend's house. Maybe she got something going on and she ain't called, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, they never did figure out where she was, or she ain't saying anything. So at this point, it's time to go ahead and file a missing persons report. Now, once the investigators got involved, once they go ahead and file that missing persons report, there are a few things that the investigators learned. What they did learn was that her car was gone, but everything else, it was still there. Her clothes was accounted for, money was untouched, and there was no signs that she was planning on leaving. What they thinking is, this is not a runaway. This not somebody that just wanted to be free. You know, like, oh, I'm sick of this 1:30 curfew. I need to get out. I need to be in the streets, living my life, getting flued out. No, she wasn't chasing freedom. It was something else. Like, where the hell is Nikki? So on August 29th, 1993, this is 3 days later, the police did locate her 1992 Pontiac Le Mans. It was parked at a Days Inn motel in the 1400 block of Northwest 31st Avenue in Pompano Beach. But the crazy thing is, it was locked, abandoned, but on the inside of her car, they found her purse. It was under the seat, and she had a fake ID in there that said Takerta C. Montgomery. But now that did raise questions, because why would she have a fake ID? And then it's even more questions like, why is she at this Days Inn motel? Was she gonna meet somebody there? Was she trying to check in? Was somebody else using her name? Like, did somebody else get her card? It just raises so many questions. And I need to look that up, because I don't even know what a Days Inn motel is. Because come to think of it, it might be, if I'm not mistaken, it's in like a little area where you probably ain't even want to stay there. But I do remember them saying, yeah, they found the car over at the Days Inn. But it's just so many questions, because all you find is the car and her purse is still there. So clearly there's nobody that's going to run away and they don't have nothing. She ain't got no she don't have a change of clothes. She don't have anything. Just what she got on her. Now, police did receive some information that someone may have seen her speaking to an unidentified man at the hotel. Now, this unidentified man was described as a black male, and he was driving an 18-wheeler truck with a blue cab, and the license plates was from New Jersey. That's where it gets cold. Because if you know anything about the trucking life, it ain't changed not too much from 1993 to now. The trucks might have changed. The technology might have changed. But truckers, they don't stay in that place for too long. So it's very difficult to even track who this black male is in this 18-wheeler truck with New Jersey plates. And like I said, it's 1993, so it ain't no cameras. It ain't like they can go back and say, oh, here's the guy. They rolled through as a trucker. You know, they in and out. They cross state lines. Nobody don't ask no questions. But after that sighting, that's the last sighting that they have of Nikki. Nobody else said that they've seen her. However, now 2 years later, in 1995, police received a phone call. And someone claimed on that phone call that they found Nikki's remains. Well, they said they know what Nikki's remains is. They buried in a backyard at a Pompano Beach house, at a house in Pompano. But the police go there because it's like, oh shoot, this a cold case at this point. We don't nobody know where Nikki at. Like, this the first clue we done had in years. So they dig her up. They go to this house. They search, they dig, they do everything, but they ain't find nothing. It wasn't no body, it wasn't no evidence. It was just a blank fucking phone call. Somebody just don't have shit else better to do, which pisses you off even more. Because it's like, bruh, for real? Y'all don't have shit else to do? Like, it's a family out here that's legit looking for their baby. But I digress. Now, one thing Nikki's mom has said is that she believes that Nikki may have come to harm at the hands of two people that knew her. Two people. I don't know where she got that information from. Maybe the streets be talking, because sometimes the police will hold on to certain information that they do have, so they can have, what they call it, a ace in the hole, something like that. And in the streets, I'm pretty sure be talking. The streets be out there saying, hey, I think it was yada yada yada, this person, that person, So that's probably where I feel like her mom may have got that information, where she feel like it was two people. But at the end of the day, no one has ever been charged and no one has ever been named as a suspect. Now, one thing is, her disappearance date is somewhere between August 26th and August 29th. Sometimes that confusion can get cases buried, but I really don't think that's the case. at the end of the day, Nikki disappeared that early in the morning, and nobody has any clue what happened to her. Now, today, in all honesty, Nikki would be 50 years old. Now, they do have her photo, and her photo is the main photo that I will post, because they did go ahead and take that picture and age progressed it. So they kind of have an idea of what she would look like at 50. But this is 30 years ago. And to this day, Nikki is still missing. To this day, they have no clue what happened to Nikki. Where did she go? Who was involved? All they know is they found a car with these items and this fake ID, and she left at 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, more recently, Nikki's mom spoke with, I don't know if this is NCMEC, I'm not sure. I think that's the National Children Missing, don't quote me because I'm not sure entirely what, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I said I didn't know, but I do know what it is. I had to think about it. Hey, y'all give me a little bit of grace. However, this has been 30 years and she has not given up. So she shared this message. She said, "Our family is not the same without you. Here with us. You are truly missed and we love you with all our heart." Now, that's not something that's on a headline. That's something from the bottom of her mom's heart. I don't know if anybody out there, sometimes the thing that hits hard the most when somebody is missing is that sometimes the family never gets any closure. And I hate that. So I just pray that her family can one day find out what happened to Nikki and the circumstances behind it so that they can sleep peacefully at night. Because I can't even imagine what that feels like. I don't even want to claim to know what that feels like. But if you or anybody you know has any information that can help this family, that can help investigators, please contact the Broward County Sheriff's Office. Their phone number is 954-321-4735. Or, hey, at this point, it's been 30 years of technology. It's crazy. Just contact your local police department. Let them know I know something. Because even if it's anonymous, they all matter. This is a cold case. And it just set on my spirit because I've seen the missing posters. I've seen this girl around town. And every so often I look it up and it's no more information. Nobody has anything to say. Nobody knows anything. So it's my prayer that in this lifetime, definitely this case will get resolved. So I said all that to say, this one, like I said, it hit home because we're from the same area. We're from the same town. We've been in the same places. Me and her, we've definitely been in the same room before. So it was personal. It's coming from my hometown. It's coming from Pompano. It's coming from my home school. This is from Blanche Ely. But most importantly, this is somebody's baby. And her mom deserves those answers. This is where the sunshine has to stop blinding us and the streets actually do start talking. I know sometimes in Florida you don't get closure, but sometimes you just get silence. At this time, it's time for y'all to speak up. But that was another one where the sunshine don't blind us and the streets don't lie. It's real heat in these streets because Florida ain't sweet.